and welcome to the Averatec-Intel Classic 2008. We are into the round of 16. We got the final 4 matches of that today. Hello and welcome. My name's Jason Lee. I'm filling in for Nick Tasteless Plot, who is actually over in Paris. Lucky guy. He's over to cast the WWI. So Nick's still keeping busy with StarCraft, but out of the country right now. And Jason Lee filling in for him right now. So, what have we got today? We have 4 more matches in the round of 16. If you win today, that means you are into the quarterfinals, and you're going to be banking some extra bucks, talking to the tune of about $5,000 if you make it into the quarterfinals. So definitely the players here today, a lot of pressure on them, not only for their rankings, not only for glory and honor, but also cha-ching, financial gains as well. Hey, $5,000 to a high school kid, probably a lot more these days than, will get you a lot more these days. So I'm sure these kids are definitely going to be banging for that. Taking a look at some of the matches that we do have today. We have BackHo up against GanZi, Flash up against Lucifer, Anytime taking on Memory, and Stork going up against Berserker today. So that means all 4 matches that we have for you today are Terran versus Protoss. And taking a look at the finals, that is our schedule. It's all in Korean, isn't it? So I don't know if you can read that, but if you take a look at the screen, that's basically saying August the 10th. That is going to be the date set for the final, so mark that on your calendar right now. August 10th is when we are going to have the championship final, as whoever does qualify to that point, they're going to be playing for $40,000 approximately US. Second place will be picking up about $15,000. So definitely, once again, money going to be a big factor, a big fat paycheck for some of these kids that, when I was in high school, I remember making about $2, maybe $3 an hour working a fast food joint. So I think these guys definitely playing for a lot more today. Let's take a look at the 4 matchups. Okay, so we got BackHo up against GanZi from Heartbeat Stars. Also Flash, of course, from KTF Magic Ends, currently ranked 2nd, according to Kespa. He's taking on Lucifer, his own teammate from KTF Magic Ends. So that's going to be interesting because, sure, Flash, of course, is ranked much higher, but does that mean that he's going to win against his own teammates? The other matchups that you saw there, Anytime versus Memory, and Stork up against Berserker. And, of course, Stork also a big-name player, but Berserker not too shabby himself when it comes to making a name for himself. And I think that is definitely going to be a big matchup to look for. That'll be our 4th matchup for today. So if you're getting tired after the 3rd, hang in there for the 4th, because obviously we're going to have a good matchup to come. Our first matchup for today is going to be BackHo versus GanZi. And, they're talking about Nick right now, actually. If you take a look at the casters, and yeah, here I am right now, Jason Lee here, filling in for Nick Tasteless Plot, who is at the WWI in Paris. So he gets to go over to France, Paris, and here I am filling in, doing the StarCraft gig here for the Averatec-Intel Classic 2008. Well, the players are set. I saw BackHo walking in here earlier and practicing up a little bit, getting prepared for this match, and a very big match it is for him. Looking very confident. Sometimes you can get a feel, personally myself, I'm a bit of a poker player, and you can kind of get a feel on the focus of these guys. And taking a look at him, here is BackHo as he entered, looking very confident, very calm. Not as, sometimes you see a little bit of nerves going through these players as they come in, maybe looking more focused somewhat. But I think with BackHo as he came in today, he looked a little more relaxed than anything. Even looking over at him in the booth right now, just kind of sitting there as if he's just kind of waiting, come on, let's get it on, He's not really overly excited, overly anxious. He's just kind of relaxed, and I think that should be interesting for his play. There you see him right now, as I said. Not really nervous, almost looks like he's chewing gum or something like that. So definitely going to be in a good mood for a game like today. The player that he's going to be taking on is GanZi. As we take a look at him here, doing pretty good. This is actually the highest that he has ever reached in a tournament, making the top 16. So if you haven't heard of him, that's perhaps why, because he hasn't necessarily been as successful in tournaments. Right now, he is riding a hot streak, however, so playing as confident as ever, making the final 16 here. As for BackHo, he has been in the quarterfinals. In fact, he's actually been in the semifinals of a tournament before. So right now, we do have two players that kind of going, I wouldn't say opposite directions. They're definitely both riding a hot streak and going to be clashing here in the round of 16. Yeah, you can take GanZi on the right. Definitely looks much more focused. BackHo looks just kind of relaxed, kind of ho-hum, ready to go. And I think that's going to be interesting for today's matchup. Now, as you know, Protoss versus Terran. That's going to be a classic match. I really like Protoss versus Terran because you often see different types of strategies, and we're going to see all four of those today. In fact, we could see anywhere from 8 to 12 matches because this is a best 2 out of 3, and I think we're going to be all Protoss Terran out by the end of this, perhaps. But definitely some good matches to come. Maps that we're going to be using today: Andromeda, Othello, and Blue Storm. So those will be something to look forward to. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention, just if you're curious, who's this Jason guy? How did he end up here? I didn't actually go this route, but just so you know, if you're watching right now on www.gomtv.net, one thing that you can do is, if you look at the instructions on the site, you can actually do your own mock play-by-play. So if you need something worth checking out, you can pretend you're in my seat right now and ready to go, kind of pretend you're doing your own play-by-play. They'll actually erase my voice out there, keep the gameplay sound effects in there, and give you an opportunity to, see what you would sound like if you were doing my job. So how cool is that? An interesting option that you have to do. So, maybe after the games are complete for tonight, maybe check back over and go through the VOD, play it through, put your voice on top of it, and see how you would do. Maybe you can pursue a dream to become a play-by-play caster yourself as well. Well, our first match is ready to go. We're going to be playing on Andromeda. This is for the rights to proceed to the round of 8 from 16. Let's check it out.
마법의 신무기 일가포지의 손찬호, 반전의 시나리오를 써가는 한비스타즈 김동주, 8강으로 가는 5번째 주인공을 가려보자.
16강이 마지막이 될 것 같네요. 안녕히 가세요. 열심히 하고 오세요.
이재동, 김태경 등 최고의 선수들이 그의 앞에 연이어 쓰러졌다. 오영종의 끼를 잇는 듯깝게 강력 프로토스 손찬호, 그 누군들 떨지 않을 수 있으랴.
프로토스가 편해요.
김동주, 간 한번 터서 마음에 든다.
자랑스러워요.
하긴 박영민 등 CJ 엔투스의 굵직한 선수들을 꺾으며 16강까지 온 김동주가 아니던가.
김동수?
김동수는 클래식 해설이고, 이름이 비슷해도 선수와 해설을 헷갈리진 말자. 어쨌든 이 젊고 패기 넘치는 두 선수는 서로에 대해 얼마만큼 알고 있을까? 일단 어느 팀인지는 알겠고,
잘 모르겠어요. 몰라요.
어허, 경기 스타일은 파악했겠지?
다 몰라요. 잘 모르겠어요.
그렇다면 지난 32강에서 손찬웅은 김구현을, 김동준은 한상복을 꺾었다는 것쯤은 설마 알겠지?
전반은 잘 모르겠어요. 관심 없어요.
백호 대 간지. 아이디에서부터 개성이 철철 넘치는 두 선수. 그러니까 보드 손천웅 대 한비스타즈 김덕규.
Okay, we are set to go. There is BackHo down at the 5 o'clock corner. GanZi up at 1 o'clock. And, of course, starting off with the Protoss Terran matchup, we're going to be seeing an awful lot of this today. We'll get used to it. People were wondering, actually, what is it that people shout out before the match? They're basically just saying, go BackHo or go GanZi, kind of cheer them on, showing their support. And I must say that the support for GanZi actually seemed a little bit louder when they had the cheer. So maybe a few more of GanZi's fans in the studio audience today to back him up. BackHo also, of course, he's got his fans here as well, but just kind of an interesting side note. By the way, BackHo actually 2 years younger than GanZi. Both actually started as pro gamers around the same time. Started in 2006, so both of them have been gaming for 2 years, although GanZi is a couple years older than BackHo. Rankings to look at. BackHo currently ranked 36, so he's ranked fairly high. GanZi's actually ranked currently at 148th. I mentioned before, this is the highest that he has ever been in a tournament. So one of the things to note is, yes, he is ranked quite a bit lower, but the other thing to note is that he is on a hot streak. He's playing more confident, perhaps, than before in other tournaments. And taking a look at GanZi, he's blocking off his entranceway, making sure that nothing can get in. He's got the supply depot. Started off a little bit of a second supply depot and then the barracks, just to make sure that the probe cannot come in. Probe might come in to try to steal the Vespene gas geyser, put an assimilator in there, just to kind of mess with GanZi's timing. But well, that's why he's got that there. Meanwhile, BackHo already teching up to his cybernetics core. So looking like he wants to go straight to Dragoons. Does not look like he's going to be going with Zealots as well, at all. GanZi now sending his SCV down towards 5 o'clock to scout out. And meanwhile, BackHo can't get in, so he's going to be content to just do a little bit of damage, kind of poking away at that supply depot, and hopefully allowing that to contribute to some more future damage in the end. GanZi at the base of BackHo with the SCV, checking things out, realizes there aren't any Zealots. There's a Dragoon, however, and it is going to take out the SCV, although he pretty much was able to see everything that he needed to see thus far. GanZi going with an academy now, and he's already brought out one Marine, and he is going to the early command center. So GanZi does want to expand ASAP, and he has started his command center before his factory. He has just started on his factory now, and now here comes BackHo with a Dragoon, trying to do a little bit of harassment. Good control by GanZi to back off that Marine after taking a little bit of damage, although he's going to probably lose that one Marine. Oh, good control, but no, eventually he does lose it. Another Marine out to defend, but a second Dragoon there. Of course, GanZi with the high ground, so a little bit of an advantage, but here he comes trying to do some more harassment and losing all his Marines. Now, he's got a medic out there, but the medic actually not going to be able to do much good there because he doesn't have any Marines to fix up. BackHo, meanwhile, with 2 Dragoons doing some decent damage. The SCVs coming out just in case they're needed to go in after these Dragoons if they can bust through. Now trying to fix the supply depots. GanZi's going to need a tank out soon. And still going to replace 3 Dragoons there, doing a fair bit of damage. Picking off some SCVs one by one. Control battle here. Do you fix? Do you back off? Fix, back off. GanZi go to repair again. They cannot let those Dragoons come in. If those Dragoons get into the base, don't know if it'll be GG, but it certainly would do a heavy blow to GanZi. He's got to get those tanks out. Here comes the tank, finally out. Does not have siege mode yet, but is able to back those Dragoons out. 3 more Dragoons on his base, and he's already moved up to a shuttle with the robotics facility and the support bay as well. So we are going to see a Reaver for BackHo. Siege mode upgraded for GanZi, and the 3 Dragoons now have to back off. And here is the command center for the mineral expansion. Siege tank in place, and here's the shuttle. We'll see if the Reaver's out yet. There it is, and it's just going to be a matter of how much damage he can do with this. Is he going to go to the main or the expansion? Let's see how much room he has. That siege tank is there to protect, and just now turrets being built. The turrets will not be made in time, I don't believe. Definitely will not. And here comes the Reaver now. Reaver being set. 1 Zealot out first. And the Reaver in place. Taking out 1 SCV. Reaver already with 3 kills to its credit. Meanwhile, the starport up for GanZi. And there's the Wraith, and he's see if he can take out the shuttle. The Wraith going after the shuttle, and just drops out the Reaver. Has the Dragoons there to support it. Observer out for BackHo, and he's looking to expand as well now. 1 Wraith does not have cloaking ability. I've got to say the Reaver obviously did not lose the Reaver, but did not quite do as much damage as he would have liked to have done with it. But thus far, GanZi simply got to mass up some units and then get ready for that Terran push, making another command center now. Smart to fix up that Wraith. Taking a look at everything, however, is BackHo. And some kids in the audience as well. Get the kids started at an early age for StarCraft. That's the key. Taking out the neutral buildings is BackHo. There's some room for him. A little disappointed that GanZi hasn't gone out to scout out. You know, you could even use the Wraith to scout a bit, but I guess he's going to use the Wraith to defend against that shuttle more than anything for the time being. Citadel being built. Gonna get some legs for those, well, for the 1 Zealot. Gonna want to upgrade to Templars as well. Probably High Templars. And the command center is completed for GanZi. He's gonna want to push out, get those siege tanks out to fortify And the dropship coming out. We don't know if BackHo was able to see the dropship. There's the Wraith. Control game going on here. Observer taken out by the turret. Here comes the dropship. Going searching for trouble. Unfortunately for GanZi, BackHo's actually expanding in the wrong place. He's actually expanding over at the 4 o'clock position. He's going to get down to 7. And, well, his dropship's actually going to get spotted by... he gets spotted by the probe. And now that's going to take away the element of surprise when he actually goes for the drop to the main base at 5 o'clock. Dropship thinks about going in, knows that the element of surprise is gone, so he backs off for the time being. Cannon being built there. So far, a pretty passive game from both players. Both obviously realizing how much this game means and going to be making sure that they don't make any mistakes. Looks like the shuttle has its speed upgrade. Vultures going down to that expansion just to make sure that there isn't anything else going on there. And they take out the probe. GanZi building up his mechanic forces. Dropship taken out by the Dragoon. That's gotta hurt for GanZi. Clearly not too pleased about that. The Vultures making sure that GanZi cannot expand there. And finally the Observer makes its way over. And these Dragoons will take out those Vultures. And here comes the push now. GanZi coming out. Just enough of a distraction at 7 o'clock to provide a bit of cover for GanZi to get his forces out. And in the slow push from GanZi working its way. It's got an awful lot of SCVs that aren't working there. Had about 5 that weren't being productive. And now BackHo stubbornly trying to get that expansion up at 7 o'clock. Here comes some more Vultures. Try to provide some harassment. Realizing that their numbers are not going to be enough against those Dragoons. They're going to back off. And here comes the Observer Dragoon combination to take out those mines. Oh, just at the early goings, I gotta say that looks like we're in for the long haul on this game. So far going the ground unit way. GanZi does have his armory up, but I have yet to see a starport for BackHo. Often getting into the later stages, of course, Protoss Terran, we're going to see some carriers as well as Goliaths. Not gotten to that point yet. We're still in mid-game phase here. And an awful lot of Vultures coming down. Trying to take out these Dragoons. If they can get enough of these Dragoons to bite on these spider mines, GanZi could try to get a bit of an upper hand. But BackHo not falling for it, being patient. And BackHo is actually getting an awful lot of expansions up. He's got about 4 or 5 expansions already now. In the macro game, building up his forces, spreading out, trying to get some map coverage. While GanZi is kind of still up in that top right corner. Oh, now he's starting to expand to 11 o'clock. And an awful lot of units there. That's a lot of tanks, a lot of vultures. The observer there spotted what's going on. GanZi's trying to push. BackHo's actually got quite a force himself. A couple of Reavers in there, some High Templars. GanZi trying to slowly push down a bit. Just the one High Templar we can see there. And there's the shuttle play, trying to drop a Zealot in the cluster of tanks, see if he can bait the other siege tanks to take them out. Friendly fire with a splash damage. There's the starport. Already Goliath starting to come out for GanZi. And here comes the push. It's going to be BackHo is drawing first blood. High Templar Psionic Storm. Oh, he's taking out a lot of those tanks. Oh, look at this. BackHo doing some huge damage with the Psionic Storm. They can't quite get into the siege tanks. Still has a wall. But he's going to need some more vultures. He lost a ton of vultures with those Psionic Storms. Slowly trying to push in a bit. Archon's being finished. Here comes GanZi again, trying to reinforce with his vultures. Trying to push down a bit more. Still a bit of an even battle so far. Tough to really say who's got an edge. And actually, BackHo going for the Arbiter. See what do you? If he's going to go for the recall or the stasis field with the Arbiter. For another Zealot drop. Doesn't want to lose that shuttle. He's going to have to back that out. He does indeed. Goliath's out. The tank's trying to get in on that expansion there. Observer there to spot those spider mines. And GanZi doing a little bit of harassment on that expansion. BackHo trying to push up a bit. I don't think he's got enough. He's going to have to reinforce a bit. BackHo doesn't want to make too much of a mistake here because GanZi's got a ton of vultures there. A mistake by BackHo to try to come out too early could leave him naked for a counter punch from GanZi. BackHo trying to wait for that Arbiter to come out before really goes in heavy. But now the Bear comes over and GanZi's going to be able to work on that expansion just above his main base at 5 o'clock. Dragoon getting sucked in. Takes it out, and it looks like it might be just a matter of time before BackHo loses that expansion at 4. More vultures. Oh, a Reaver drop at the 3 o'clock expansion. Took a while for GanZi to realize it, although he didn't actually lose too many. 8 kills for one Reaver. I think the other had about 10. Of course, those are the same Reavers that BackHo has not lost yet, so those kills go back to before. And now GanZi going on the offensive as well with the siege tanks up on the high ground at the 7 o'clock expansion. Here's the Arbiter now. Scan. Psionic Storm as well, didn't get too much with that as GanZi is spread out a bit. Oh, the Spider Mines though, taking out all those tanks. Dark Templars there as well. And BackHo doing some pretty good damage on this push. GanZi was somewhat spread out as he was working on that 7 o'clock expansion. And his forces, after being spread thin, BackHo is actually doing a good job of coming out. Still gotta say, it's a pretty close matchup. Reaver dropped to take out those tanks. Good play by BackHo. Mineral has been depleted. GanZi's going to have to look for another expansion. This match could very well go to be a mined out game. Oh, the shuttle finally taken out. The rate this game's going, it's still neck and neck. Each time BackHo goes in to do a bit of harassment, GanZi does the same. Very even matchup right now. Really tough to say who's going to have an edge in the long run. I've got to say that BackHo does have more expansions, but GanZi has got a pretty good position as he's been able to move his units towards the middle, almost sieging in BackHo down into his main base, just to the bottom right. Reaver drop again. 20 kills for that Reaver, 15 for the other. Those Reavers definitely getting their money's worth, and also the battle taken on now towards the center of the map. Science vessel there to spot the Arbiter. And there's the GG. So BackHo takes the game. The Reavers just doing too much damage, and BackHo goes on to win. Good games for BackHo. He's able to get control on the expansion, and then the Reavers, 20 kills for one Reaver, 15 for the other. That eventually led to simply taking out all the workers. GanZi also had mined his expansion out. He was unable to expand and simply realized that he wasn't going to go anywhere after that. The Arbiter coming out with the cloaking ability, also providing a lot of support for the battles in the middle. GanZi had come down and had him backed in, but once the Arbiter came out, that pretty much crushed that idea. And GanZi also spread out a little bit too much, as of course he was trying to knock out the expansion at 7 o'clock as well as the one at 4 o'clock. Doing a good job with the siege tank to do it, but simply spread his army too thin, and that allowed BackHo to use those Reaver drops effectively, and also to push in with the Arbiter and take the center back into his control. Well, that is round one of this best 2 out of 3. So, of course, BackHo does have the lead, but he does have to win one more map. Next match is going to be on Othello. So GanZi has got to win this next round in order to force a third and deciding round. That would be on Blue Storm, by the way. But the next match is going to be on Othello. Well, so often Terran versus Protoss, they usually do go a bit longer than other matchups. And certainly this one, a fairly long match. Definitely became a macro game, and BackHo using the macro game to his advantage as he was able to simply expand more efficiently, more effectively than GanZi, and once again, just the use of his 2 Reavers, the timing of the drop, simply perfect, and able to use that to pretty much, I think that was probably the knockout punch in this game. This is the Averatec-Intel Classic 2008. Jason Lee here, filling in for Nick Tasteless Plot, who is actually over in Paris for the WWI. And he'll be back next week, so no fear, he will be back. I mean, well, we're just about set now for round 2. I did mention it is going to be on Othello. BackHo, I think, just stepped out for a short potty break, and he has now returned to the studio. And as he re-enters his booth, just about set to go for the second round. I want to reiterate once again that if you do go to www.gomtv.net, you can actually practice doing play-by-play yourself. There is a function there, if you follow the steps and the instructions, to be able to do a play-by-play, have a listen to yourself, see how you do, perhaps a different career future for you. An opportunity to be a StarCraft play-by-play announcer. Not exactly the route I took, but definitely something that would be fun for you to do at home. So enjoy.